You'll be forever INC.
Ready? Okay. Good luck. For the road. Check what we're at.
What time? Ready?
Please continue to submit your greetings and we'll be sure to read them throughout the show. Back to you, Sister Macy.
Welcome back to another episode of Explore Mountain State.
That's it for the weather
And
updates.
moving on to our district news update.
Only here.
On INCRadio, Mountain States.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our listeners and viewers on INC Radio Live. You are tuned in to INC Radio Mountain States. We're broadcasting live from Las Vegas, Nevada, this beautiful Saturday afternoon. It's 4:02 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 5:02 p.m. Mountain Time. So good afternoon to all of our brethren there in the District of Mountain States. And of course, to our brethren tuning in from the Philippines at 7 a.m. in the morning there, a very, very good morning to all of you. I know that laging kasama ng inyong almusal ang INC Radio Mountain States tuwing Sunday morning. And to all of our viewers and listeners worldwide, wherever you are right now, whether it's during the day or during the evening, hello to you also. I hope you are enjoying your weekend. And today, we are once again going to discuss a very special topic here on INC Radio Mountain States. We have our crew who have helped prepare this broadcast. So I would just like to acknowledge them one by one. We have Kuya Ron Pobletti tuning in from Las Vegas, Nevada. And also
Hello,
Ate
everyone.
Mylene Bernice, who is also live with us in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hi, Ate.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mountain States.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So today it's special. We are joined in by two wonderful healthcare experts here in the District of Mountain States because we will be discussing a very important topic, which I think a lot of us can relate nowadays. So without further ado, I would like to introduce first. He is already, well, actually, both of them are veterans when it comes to INC radio broadcast. So we appreciate their time once again to give to us here on this Saturday's broadcast. First and foremost, we have our very own Dr. Ferdinand Tan, Primary Care Medical Director, Ambulatory Care Administration at the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. And currently, he is the Mountain States CMDPS President. And I don't want to make a mistake on CMDPS, so we're going to ask him later on the whole, like what CMDPS means. So let us all welcome Dr. Ferdinand Tan. Hi, Dr. Ferdy.
Hi, good afternoon, Sister Macy and Sister Mylene, and good morning to our viewers and listeners in the Philippines also. We welcome you to the INC Radio Mountain States.
Yeah, so Dr. Ferdy, CMDPS, you're currently the president for our district, but what is the full meaning of CMDPS?
So CMDPS is one of the society by our CFO organization. It means Christian Medical, Dental, and Paramedical Society.
There you go. Christian Medical, Dental, and Paramedical Society. So if I'm not mistaken, this is a group that helps with our humanitarian efforts, or when we have activities, you are the first one that are available to provide first aid. Is that correct, Kafardi?
That's correct, Sister Macy. And we are coordinating with the Scan Eye International with regards to the providing first aid and, of course, providing educational seminars to our fellow brethren and conducting medical services in different activities for the Buklod, for the Care for Humanity po. And maybe in the future, the CFO cares. We're going to be doing that po.
Nice. Thank you so much, Proka Ferdi, and we appreciate that. Not only are you extending the service to our immediate community here, but most especially to our brethren inside the Church of Christ. Our next guest, also hailing from the local congregation of Las Vegas, he is currently the Las Vegas Book Club president, and professionally, he is a mental health provider. Let's all welcome Brother Brandon Dabu. Hi, brother.
Hello, thank you so much, Sister Macy. Hello, Sister Mylan, for your on.
all the brethren who are watching within the Mountain State District. Hello, everyone, and also all those who are viewing in and tuning in all over the world. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
No, thank you for joining. We love it when both of you are in because we learn. Both of you are just a treasure mine of knowledge and information when it comes to healthcare and anything medical related. So we always appreciate when you're joining us in our broadcast. So there you go. We have Dr. Ferdy, we have Brother Brandon in the house. You might be wondering, why do we have these two amazing healthcare professionals in our broadcast today? And that is because we are going to discuss a very relatable topic. I think all of us have experienced this one time or the other. For some, maybe more often than others. It's called fatigue. So that will be the main discussion of our topic today. We want to understand what fatigue is and also address the symptoms so that it doesn't interfere with our daily lives. So first of all, we want to establish a definition of fatigue. What is it really? Dr. Ferdy, what is fatigue?
Fatigue is a sense of feeling low energy, inability to perform the usual functions that your body has. And it's one of the most common symptoms that any patient has, especially if they have either an acute illness or a chronic illness. Those fatigue can be caused by medical conditions like anemia or endocrine disorders like hypothyroidism, or wherein you are underactive thyroid, or hyperthyroidism wherein you have overactive thyroid, adrenal insufficiency, or you are having some manifestation of heart problems like heart failure or coronary artery disease, even infections like HIV or mononucleosis can cause fatigue. People who are suffering from chronic kidney disease, like especially those with end-stage renal disease, they manifest with fatigue. People who are having autoimmune diseases like lupus, or people who have been diagnosed with cancer, fatigue is a very common symptoms for all of them. Neurological disorder, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, and then we have the usual cause of the fatigue, for mental health, depression, anxiety, stress, grief, when you are suffering from acute bereavement, and then the usual nutritional disorder like vitamin deficiencies. Even recently, like people who are suffering, who have COVID, and then they already recovered, but they're still suffering from a post-COVID fatigue syndrome. And then being obese itself can cause fatigue. So those are
basically,
like,
Dr.
go ahead,
Ferdy, like,
sister.
so what is not a little surprising for me here is fatigue is not just because maybe you were tired from your activities, but it could be a symptom of like other diseases that could be happening internally and you don't know.
What we can see is that when you're just feeling lazy or just feeling tired, basically those are only a short period of time. But fatigue, when we are talking about as a manifestations of different illness, we are seeing them as a persistent, meaning it's just not only for that particular time, particular day, but it's a recurrent or persistent symptoms that any patient will have. So when that is persistent, then we can really see that there's something wrong with what you are really experiencing, rather than just feeling tired, just feeling lazy, or just feeling unmotivated.
Okay, so I guess that answered my next question because I wanted to know like how is it different from just, some people might just feel lazy or unmotivated. So I think my question was answered there. Like fatigue is something that's a little bit more on a long-term side. It doesn't go away, which probably means that more things need to be done in order to address it. I want to ask Brother Brandon here, because of course with his profession as well, why do you think nowadays it's easy for people to feel burnt out and fatigued? Well, first of all, does being burnt out and fatigued, are they related? And why is it so easy right now to just have people experience it? Like I just hear it more and more from people.
Yes, Macy, I think they are definitely related. I would imagine, if you being burnt out, of course, whether it be, you're working too much, maybe you just have so much going on, at home, or just things that burnout is gonna, of course, gonna lead to fatigue. So I think those two are definitely can be associated. But I think, nowadays, we see a lot more people more, I would say, more burnt out or more just suffering from more fatigue. I think a lot of it is really just in society in general. Things that, I feel like a lot of times people are just surrounded so much more with maybe like your devices. There's always something playing in your mind, where it's causing more stress and more strain, and a lot of times I think a lot of it is people are not prioritizing sometimes themselves and things, that they're overworking themselves and not slowing things down.
Because back in the day, people are still hardworking, and maybe some professions are even harder back in the day. Yet you don't hear so much of this thing that's called burnt out or fatigue. I'm fatigued. I'm just too tired. I can't do anything else. So you're making a great point, Brother Brandon, that nowadays there's just so many more things that could be distracting people. There's social media. There's like maybe perception of other different perception of people when it comes to the daily things that we do. But uh, I I would say it's normal, right? We feel it all the time. I'm sure, like whether you're young or like whether you have family or in your older age, I'm sure we experience some sort of fatigue in our lives. But how do you know, Brother Brandon, when it's time to seek for professional help? Where do you draw that line?
That's a good question, Ate Macy. I think, Cuff already made it a point in terms of like, there's a lot of reasons why what can kind of cause fatigue, and it's not, or I should say, it's common that we have sometimes these hard days where we overwork ourselves, and there's days sometimes where we just don't feel motivated, like we just don't want to do anything. We just want to just kind of hang out and just catch up with things, so very common. But when you start seeing, this idea of being unmotivated, unfocused, you start seeing difficulty in being able to concentrate. It's starting to maybe affect your appetite, things like that, where it's starting to make much more of an impact on your health. And you start seeing this on a more, let's say, after about 2 weeks, it starts to set at this is not just kind of just not going away, because, ultimately, if you give yourself some rest and a break, you should be able to give your body and your mind a little bit of a break, but if you are going, weeks and you're feeling this way, okay, and it's starting to affect a lot of your ability to be able to kind of, I guess, even just process, simple things, then I think that's something that we really need to kind of take a look at ourselves and start seeking professional help for.
Thank you, Brother Brandon. So I guess for a lot of our brethren here, that those are things to watch out for. Okay, always like gauge yourself on the things that you're doing. If you are unable to do the simple things that you could do before, or like if it takes you a while before you can recover from being tired, then please do not wait, and seek for professional help so that it can be fixed right away. But Brother Ferdy, so from your perspective as a doctor here, what are the some actions or things that our brethren can do so that they can avoid getting fatigued?
Uh, First of all, sister, we have to really recognize what are the signs and symptoms of the fatigue, like what Brother Brandon had mentioned already. Um, um, Fatigue can manifest in many ways. Basically, it could manifest in a physical, like that person's maybe becoming more ill frequently, or that person's maybe experiencing what we call like chest pain that is unexplained, having some shortness of breath, and even experiencing some emotional symptoms. They're feeling depressed, anxious, irritable, get angry easily. And then also like there are some manifestations will be also like they are no longer as productive as before. They are like they no longer lack the interest to go to work. They wanted to be isolated. They already lack the enjoyment of working basically, and then they wanted to feel like they are not connected to the world. So when the brethren or any persons are experiencing all these signs or symptoms of the fatigue or burnout, then definitely we really have to seek professional help. And once because the recognitions of burnout still is still one of those under recognized as in our society. uh, we fail to recognize that our society are changing. uh, Even in some we have discussed this in the past. There are some generational differences. Although I belong to Generation X, and then the one that are currently in our big companies are Generations Y or the millennials, and then a lot of them have increased stress and demands, basically because of the you see, we have economic uncertainties. We like what is happening right now in the United States. Uh, Although we have the job market is still there, but anytime like what had happened in the COVID-19, when all of a sudden everything fails.
Yes,
The
totally.
economy, the social life, the food, basically it put us to like a sudden halt for everything. So those kind of worries, and then the shift in the work dynamics also, basically some people are working at home, some people are working purely at the office, and then and then the company now is asking, oh, are you guys productive? Are you, show me your productivity? So there's what we
Yes.
call a productivity paranoia, basically. So when that happened, you are being more demanded to be more productive, so you're blurring the work and the lines between work and personal life. So sometimes some of us are bringing our work in at home.
Back at
So
home. Yes.
and
Actually,
a lot
brother.
of people are working at home because that's
Uh-huh.
what they choose to do. They work at home, but sometimes they extend that particular work into their
Yes.
personal life. So you are
I
not really
am
able to.
I am
I think we are
absolutely
guilty of that
guilty.
one.
We are
Yeah.
guilty of that, brother Ferdy. And I love that you mentioned the productivity paranoia. You know, a lot of our brethren, also people in the world, are experiencing, work from home right now. Like it had never really come back. But you would think that it would give you much more time to relax or like flexibility in your life. But productivity paranoia is very real, and blurring the lines between your personal life and just being at home, it's also very real. Like for me, I pass by my home office. Every time I pass by, it's like I'm always tempted to like, okay, let me just check that one email, right? And then at random hours at home. So thank you so much, Brother Freddie. That's a very well, explanation of how it is different nowadays. And we actually have some questions on the live chat book. Let's see here. We have one question from our live chat. Brother Brandon, maybe you can help out with this book. Is there a connection between screen time and technological advancements? Because our brethren say it's so ironic that technology is designed to make tasks easier, but we are more tired these days. Like fatigue is more rampant.
Yes, Dr. Macy. Yeah, and simply put, definitely there's been studies with screen time, especially with young kids. They're starting to see young kids with screen time. I think there's been studies saying that it can cause sometimes more anxiety because they get so attached. And even most adults nowadays, we're just so connected, to our phone, and it's nothing wrong with that because a lot of us work through our phone and we need it. And I would say, I'm guilty of it, but I think most of us will say a lot of us find ourselves scrolling, before we go to sleep, and they're saying that, when you start doing that before you go to sleep, it starts to affect your sleep, and all that plays a huge role. It's like, it's like a domino effect. So, things like that can of course cause more issues in causing fatigue.
Yes, and I agree, Brother Brandon. There has been so many studies about that. That's why I always tell my kids, my husband, my parents, don't when you're ready to sleep, just sleep and get into that routine. because if you the more that you watch TV or like get on your phone, you would think that, oh, this will help me fall asleep faster, but it's actually doing the opposite. And as a segue to that, we have another question from our sister Glenda Sanson. This could be for you, Dr. Ferdy. Why is it that I'm so tired but I cannot sleep well? What could be causing that, Dr. Ferdy?
That's a loaded question, Sister Macy. There's like two questions there. The sister, why she cannot sleep and why she's feeling so tired. So that's two questions which really needs further investigations. Lack of unable to sleep. There's a lot of things that can cause you lack of sleep. One of the things that we usually ask when we encounter patients that are lacking of sleep is, are you practicing a good sleep hygiene? So that's the first thing that we do, meaning like you are first the meal. You should be sleeping at least 4 hours after your dinner meal, meaning like you are not eating only 1 hour before because you wanted to have enough time basically for your food to digest, and then you are not drinking caffeine products after 2 p.m. basically, and then you are trying to sleep at the same time every day and waking up at the same time in the morning, and then when you wake up, do you get your body, or do you go outside and get some sun exposure? Because the sun through the eye exposures have some keys to our sleep-wake cycle. So all those things we ask, and then after asking all those things like a good sleep hygiene, then we start asking further questions about anything ongoing for depression, anything ongoing for stress, and a lot of other things for Sister Macy. Now, with regards to like still feeling tired, basically like what I mentioned a while ago, there's a lot of differential for why patients are still feeling tired. Now, I forgot to mention, it's also very common also, like one of the common cause of fatigue is sleep apnea. Although you are able to sleep well, but you are not getting the proper sleep. So people who are having sleep apnea, which is very common and underdiagnosed, they stop breathing in the middle of the night, and then they're not getting enough oxygen. So by the time that they wake up in the morning, they still feeling tired, they are having headache, and then for the rest of the day, they don't have enough energy for the rest of the day. So that's one of our differential basically for lack of sleep or unable to sleep.
There's another, thank you, Dr. Ferdy. There's actually another question that they've put on here from Sister Cristel Diego. She's asking, well, are there any supplements that can help reduce fatigue?
If first of all, Sister Cristel Diego, like what Brother Brandon had mentioned a while ago already, fatigue in general, it's not only about the diet, basically. No doubt we are expected to eat healthy diet. So what are the healthy diet? You are avoiding high sugary, highly refined food. Those soda, those highly refined food, you try to avoid those things. You are eating a well-balanced meal, meaning like you are eating food that are more on the vegetables and fruits, less on the fatty food. Basically, the American Department of Agriculture have recommended some proportion of the food that we should be eating. 50% should be more on vegetables and fruits, and then 25% on the carbs and 25% on the proteins, basically. So those are what healthy eating habits. And then we are also being recommended to eat fatty fish. These are the salmon, the mackerel, the cod, those things. And then basically a lot of other recommendations for the diet. Now, if you are already eating a well-balanced diet, you won't really need any supplement at all, like any vitamins or supplement, if your diet is a well-balanced diet. But if you cannot really eat a well-balanced diet, by all means, yes, take some vitamins that are even any over-the-counter will be over-the-counter multivitamins. But nowadays also, like we are not exposed to the sun, so we are seeing a lot of people who are vitamin D deficient. So take some vitamin D supplement. That is also very good also, because it can cause some fatigue also. 1,000 units, international units, up to 2,000 international units of vitamin D, because that has been prevalent. Like people are telling that, hey, doc, I'm out in the sun most of the time. But we have to remember that when we are out in the sun or outside, we are fully covered also. We are not really naked. And in order for vitamin D to be produced in the body, we need the actual sunlight to be exposed to our skin. So unless that you are really like a regular doing two-piece sunbathing regularly, then you won't get enough vitamin D.
The skin doesn't really get enough.
And then you are
that we need
exposed
to
also
get.
to skin cancer if you are doing it, getting it only from the sun.
So you can't really win.
You won't win, basically. Just take some supplement.
Yes, there you go. Well, I hope you are learning from that, brothers and sisters. Let's go ahead. There's one more question from Sister Daisy here. She says she works from home, so it's very relatable. It's so hard to detach when working from home. So this is our last question before we go on station break for Brother Brandon. If integrating work from personal time is almost impossible, is there anything that we can do to stay away from fatigue? And this is specifically for those who work from home.
Yeah, I know it's really tough, because I know we kind of discussed how much we kind of take our work home, and if you work at home, then your work is there, you know? So I would say one of the things that you need to make and be mindful of is, I use my phone a lot too, but I put a timer on my phone. And so a timer is like while you're working at home or you're doing it at home, try as best you can to break up your workday and give yourself a break. It's very easy, especially if you're in your home, just to keep working throughout the day. You need a break, and if it's not physically to go walk, which is probably one of the best things you can do, just a mental break, just step away from whatever you're doing. If you can do that, and just, even though you're in the home environment, just detach, do something to take your mind a little bit away from what you're doing, and then come back into it. And I bet that you're going to actually be even more progressive and proactive in terms of the way that you work, just by that small mental break. And it also helps, like I said, these small little breaks really work, because it does help in terms of being able to not allow the mind to get too wound up, and that will help, avoid from getting fatigued.
Thank you, Brother Brandon. I can relate to that, and I'm sure Sister Daisy as well. Sometimes we forget to take breaks because we're so focused at that productivity paranoia that Ferdy mentioned earlier. Like, we want to make sure that you show that you're performing and that you're so well. But Brother Brandon's making a good point. You can be more productive when you take those breaks. So speaking of breaks, we are going to take a quick station break right now. But first commenter is Sister Jasmine from Blue Diamond. So we just want to say hello to her, and thank you to all of those who continue to engage online. Later on, when we come back from the break, we'll have Ate Mylene read all of your greetings and comments. So we will be right back. Stay tuned to INC Radio Mountain States.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesianicristo.
Finally, school's over.
Yo, Andre, let's play that new game.
I have a test coming up tomorrow. I should probably study, but I've been really excited to play that new game. What should I do?
We missed you on the game yesterday. How'd the test go though?
Really well, actually. Gotta make smart choices,
And that's the value of making the right and smart choices while we're still young. It's also a matter of self-discipline. Wise decisions we make in our youth help us achieve a meaningful and purposeful life, bringing honor and glory to our Almighty God.
When was the last time you made someone smile? When was the last time you made friends with others?
Yes, please. Hi, this is Amaya. Hello, Amaya. Let's play together.
Include, invite, befriend. A small gesture of friendship can make someone's day. A message from INCRadio Mountain State Satellite Studio.
And we are back. We're still tuned in to INCRadio Mountain States, 4:32 p.m. Pacific, 5:32 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to pass it over to Ate Mylene to just say a quick hi to all of our live chatters this afternoon. Go ahead, Ate.
Thank you, Ate Macy. So we have a lot of supporters that are tuning in right now. I'm having technical difficulties, so I have to close my screen, but I'm still here saying hi to our team live chat. Our first commenter is Sister Jasmine Bayabo from Blue Diamonds. Hello po, Sister Jasmine. We have Brother Johnny Lopez. We have Sister Daisy. Kuya Ron is there too. Sister Rosny Alvarez from Colorado Springs. Hello po, Sister Rosny. We have Ate Ina, our very own, is there too. And she actually posted questions. I think Ate Macy can ask our panel in a little bit. We have Brother Mario Oka from the Philippines. Hello po. Brother Ralph Cabaltis from North Las Vegas. Hello. Thanks, Doc, for the thoughts and advice po. That's Brother Dap. We also have Sister Glenda Sonson, who asked a question a while ago. Sister Odessa Cruz from Albuquerque. Jordan Agustin from Hawaii. Hello, Brother Jordan. How are you doing? Kakayaka. And we have Sister Rona, our very own Ate Ren, Sister Christelle. We have, who else is here? Sister Janice Kiambao, Von Daddies, Johnny Lopez, Carico Alvarez po. Hello po, resident minister in Colorado. And there you go, Ate Macy. I'll send it back to you to have their questions answered.
Thank you, Ate Mylene. They're definitely very engaged right now because, again, what we're talking about is very relatable. And so there's a few more questions before we would go to our to our normal topic discussion here. But I think Sister Ina's question regarding food and diet that has already been answered by Dr. Tan earlier. There's one question from the Lopez family from Blue Diamond. And Dr. Tan, is it counterproductive to exercise more when we feel tired? What's your professional opinion to that? Okay, you're tired. Will it help if you exercise more when you're already tired?
It depends. It depends when if we are just talking about burnout. It is not really counterproductive. Basically, in one of the recommendations for people who are suffering burnout, make exercise a priority. That's one of the recommendations that we have. If we're only talking about burnout po. Of course, other medical issues, graduated exercises like those fibromyalgia, those things, sometimes graduated exercises are the recommendations. So yes, to answer that questions, if we are talking only about burnout, yeah, make exercise a priority because exercise is a powerful antidote to stress and burnout.
Oh, that's very surprising. So, it's okay. Like it can actually help fix your feeling of tiredness when you regularly exercise. So thank you so much for that. But for Brother Brandon, here's another question. Like, how important is emotional support? Does it actually help, the emotional support that you get from your surroundings, from the people around you when it comes to tackling fatigue and burnout?
Yes, Ate Mesa, I would say absolutely. I think that's a big part in terms of being able to sometimes even process kind of what's going on in our lives, is to have someone there, whether it be our spouse, whether it be a good friend, someone in the family, someone close that we're able to kind of be able to talk to be able to sometimes, there's this idea of venting, right? When you vent to someone, it helps, it's kind of soothing to be able to kind of express what's going on. It just takes so much sometimes burden off your shoulders, just being able to talk about something, not holding sometimes some stresses in. And so a support system is extremely important. It's something that when I speak to people and they are having issues, first thing sometimes I ask them all the time is, do you have a support system? Because that's how important it is to be able to have kind of that as a foundation, or as something to go to be able to help you.
So listening ears, right? So I think a lot of our brethren here, all of us can play a role in helping our brethren or our family members manage fatigue. Sometimes as simple as just listening to them vent. Okay, we heard it straight from Brother Brandon there. So and I think I can totally relate to that too. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to let them know why you're tired and why these things are stressing you out. And then after that, it helps out. So thank you for that, Brother Brandon. We've talked about throughout this broadcast self-care things and lifestyle changes that we can do in order to manage these things so that we don't feel fatigued at the end of the day, or so that we don't feel burnt out. So I want to ask both of our guests, Brother Ferdy and Brother Brandon, about your personal outlets. Let's start with Brother Ferdy here. So what is your personal outlet, the thing that you do in order to avoid fatigue and burnout?
For me, first thing first is that I try to have a clear distinctions of my time at work and the time that I spend at home. But unfortunately, no doubt, those lines blur every now and then, especially when you're on calls, especially when there's problems at work. They're going to give you a call, those things. But always be mindful and conscious. And then your attitude also. If you're the boss at work, you're not the boss at home. Actually, you're the servant at home. So for those good husband, you're always the servant.
I love that.
So no, I'm just kidding. So basically, that's the tendency. If you have some upper level positions at work, and then you're like have the habit of making commands and telling people how, hey, do this thing, do that one, and then by the time that you go home, if you are still doing the same thing, oh my goodness, you're in trouble, brother. So make it a clear distinctions of the role that you have at work and at home. So that's the second thing. Then of course, trying to really taking care of yourself also, like what we are talking already about, getting enough sleep, having enough rest, and then having exercise as part of your lifestyle. Give enough time for exercise. Fortunately, I found pickleball 2 to 3 years ago, and then it's been very helpful for me and for the rest of my family. We were and during the COVID too, like we were doing some hiking, we were doing some walks, some jogging, those things, some outdoor activities also, or even just simple like going out with your family. Those helps a lot because everyone needs break, everyone needs vacations, and everyone needs some time off. Schedule those things. It's not just like on oh, when we have time, okay, or when we are free. No, make time for it. Make sure that you schedule it. And because some of us, of course, we are passionate, we are faithful, we really like try to help in the church all the times, basically. But take care of yourself, brothers and sisters. Make sure that you schedule some time off for you and your family, because those are the only times that you will really be able to rebond with your family. Although we are trying to do it like during those activities in the chapel, definitely, like we are trying to do with our family, but make sure that you also set vacations for you and your family. And then Yes,
That's why we also have family hour, po, right? That it's
family hours also. Yes,
being really admonished by the church administration, or being encouraged to actually do that. And to your point, po, we have to do breaks that are outside of what we normally do in our daily lives, so you can actually call it a break.
that's right. That's right. And I think that's it.
All right. How about Brother Brandon? What is your personal outlet to avoid being fatigued?
Yes, Macy. So I'm kind of going with what Ferdy was just kind of mentioned. Self-care, I think, is a big part of just my overall ability to be able to kind of manage kind of fatigue and burnout. I always, tell people that that I think one thing you can do is always kind of prioritize yourself. And it's not to say that you have to forget everyone else, but make sure you take some time in the day to be able to do something for yourself. For me, I like to wake up early in the morning. I like mornings. It's usually quieter in the mornings. Usually your phone usually is not ringing. People are not trying to text you. So I like to wake up before everyone else does. And then, I basically start my day with being able to just to kind of sit. And I do drink coffee in the morning. So I just sit, I read a little bit. I do something for like 15 minutes. And from there, I do some physical activity. I get outside. I go outside to get some sun in my two-piece, from what Kafferty said, just to get some sun on my body to get some sun. It feels good. It feels good. Vitamin D, from what Kafferty exactly says, we don't get enough vitamin D, and you'd be amazed at what it can do for just energy levels. Just getting some sun in your eyes, it wakes you up. But it's just I call it a protocol. I do it. It's something that I do every day. It only takes about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but it's something that I do. And then, like I said, I do some activity. It could be something as simple as a walk, a run, some calisthenics, something to get my heart rate going just a little bit. And then that's my day. I go and, I get ready for work and I'm out the door, But, I like doing that. And why that works for me is because, it puts me in a good place, and I think Kafferty said it really well too, is also just being able to take time to even just be thankful. I don't think we do that enough. I don't think we don't take enough time to be able to just sit and realize how lucky we are to have just a day of life, right?
So
And when you
basically, reflection, right, Brother
reflection,
Brandon? Yeah,
absolutely.
exercise, then you reflect.
Yes, and so all that doesn't take a lot of time. It can just be like, for me, it's about 45 minutes. But I do it the first thing in the day because for me it works best, because when the day goes, right? We don't, when you don't know what's going to come at you, at 11 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In the evening, it might get too busy. So I do that for myself, and it really does kind of put me at a calm kind of state, and it allows me to kind of like absorb more throughout the day, so I never get to that threshold where I get too burnt out or fatigued.
Well, thank you, Brother Brandon. I think that could be an easy thing for everyone to just emulate, right? And all you need to do is, I don't know, maybe wake up 30 minutes or 1 hour earlier, and then you'd be able to do those reflections, do some physical activities, things that can clear your mind before you start your day. So thank you so much for that. But of course, one thing that we really want to discuss here is, as members of the Church of Christ, how does our faith play that role in avoiding this fatigue? Let's start with Dr. Purdy.
as members of the Church of Christ, God have given us this faith that we strongly believe in God's loves and promise. And because of that faith, it arises some hope in us that whatever happens in this hopeless world, that whatever comes in our life, we're still looking and believe and strongly believe and convinced about that what is our real destination is. And our real destinations, of course, is in that holy city. And we always look upon that destinations, no matter what happened in our life. And through that faith and hope. And of course, lastly, just to complete that trio, basically, is the love. The love of God and our love for our God, and the love that we will be able to give to our fellow members, to our fellow countrymen, even a love for your office, basically. The love that, because all the things that we do, if without love, then it's nothing. So, so that's makes us different as church members. We have all those things. We have the promise, we have the hope, we have the faith, and we have the love. Now, certainly, we're still traveling here in this world, so we are trying to have a certain kind of adaptations to this world. So, like avoiding burnout. So, we are changing our minds. We are trying to adapt all the time, so something like that. But what makes us different is that we are still have something to look upon.
Thank you, Brother Ferdy. And we actually also have a comment from our live chat regarding that from the Lopez family. They said, prayer is our right and privilege that could be used to the fullest. Anytime, anywhere, Almighty Father is accessible to us. I feel like I have many conversations with God throughout the day, and I think all of us can relate to that. Brother Brandon, anything you can add to that, bro, regarding how our faith helps us battle this burnout and fatigue syndrome of the world?
Yes, Ate Macy, and I think the Lopez family kind of said it very well too. I think that's the one thing that we have this right and privilege which we have as members of the Church of Christ, that we could always pray to our Almighty God. You know, that is something that's personal in our hearts, that we have the right to ask for His guidance, His love, His care, and it really can help guide us in the right direction. I think that's extremely important because, God can give us the pathway to help us find our way in this life. It's easy for Him. It's nothing for Him, and so we just have to trust in Him. We just have to rely on what He can do for us. And so, that is the gift that we have as members of the Church of Christ. So I always say, before you prioritize self-care, before you prioritize anything, make sure you always prioritize being able to put God first in our hearts and trust in Him.
Right. Thank you so much. And I love that we have so many questions also from our live chat. I feel like they're doing all their consultations now, taking advantage of that. Dr. Ferdy and Brother Brandon are both here. But I think most of these questions were answered. Thank you so much for your expertise and being so generous and letting us know of your knowledge. We want to acknowledge really quick our live viewers right now. We have Sister Zenaida Novesteras watching from Midtown Toronto, District of Greater Toronto. Hello to you both. We also have Brother Mario Oka watching from the Philippines. We have Canlas family watching from the Philippines as well, and Sister RG, our former INC radio crew, watching from La Trinidad, Benguet. Also tuned in right now, very early in the morning there, but they're still joining us. And we have Sister Lizelle Canlas. Hi, Sister Macy, watching from Pampanga North. We have all of our local congregations in Nevada that are also here, and some comments from our viewers. There's one here that I really like when Brother Ferdy was talking about taking care of the family and also putting some family time. Where is it? It says here, kudos to all our hardworking dads and moms, husbands and wives, and even children. Self-care is important. And they said that they love what you have mentioned, Dr. Ferdy. Love family time, family hours, especially, and weekly check-ins is very helpful. And lastly, the Lopez family also is giving thanks to Ka Ferdy and Brother Brandon for the wonderful time that you have given us today. And I hope that that topic is very helpful for everyone. I can't believe that that almost 1 hour had passed by that quickly, and we have covered so much ground when it comes to this topic. But we're nearing our end. The fatigue is real, and many people silently deal with this every day. But by having a system, taking care of ourselves and others, we can make a significant relief as officers in the Church of Christ. Like that we heard today, our prayers, fellowship, unity, and strong sense of brotherhood have a powerful impact. So thank you once again to our guest, resident guest for Satellite Studio, Dr. Ferdy Tan and Brother Brandon Dabu, for your time and for another informative and very educational discussion this Saturday afternoon. So brothers and sisters, I hope you continue to tune in to INC Radio Mountain States. Next week, we're going to have a great topic for you all. So join us again at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, April 20th, and that will be 7 o'clock in the morning over there in the Philippines. Before we end our broadcast, quick thank yous to all those that made this possible. First of all, to Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Irano Manalo, our CEO and President of CEBSI and CFO Coordinator, Brother Wally Taray, our station manager, Brother Manly Andaya, our executive producer, Brother Barrington Thompson, our district minister, and of course, Brother Oliver Canlas, our assistant district minister. Thank you to Brother Jay Augustine, our CFO overseer, and all the avid listeners and viewers of INC Radio Mountain States. Thank you to our Kuya technicians all the way there in the main studio in the Philippines. This is all the time we have. Thank you for tuning in and listening to INC Radio Mountain States, changing lives through God's Word. Up next is INC Radio Canada. Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
Doc
Thank you for your
Ferdy. Thank you, Brother
time.
Brandon.
Happy afternoon.
Enjoy the Saturday. Take some breaks.
Yes. It's a beautiful weather too. Not too windy.